Hello, and welcome to another tutorial about for the MIIA robotic platform. So this tutorial is basically just to take you through the code template that we've made to make things a bit easier for you, so you don't need to keep on setting things up every time you start a new project. So this is I'll take you through from the start down to the bottom and where you can add all the things that you want to do. So, okay, so the first thing is you'll see on the top would say include libraries here. So let me just make this, yeah. So this is basically, so you'll see hash, well, the hash include server.h. So what this is basically a library that's gonna help you make things easier to write your servo motors. And this is basically your servo motors. You normally just give it a type of wave out of your microcontroller, and based on the width of that wave, your motors will move accordingly. But that's more on a separate topic on another day. But this is just a library that's going to help you with that, and it simplifies everything. Okay, so and we'll see that as we go through. So next is your servo motor objects that you make, and basically this corresponds to each individual motor. So you'll just say servo, it'll highlight, and you'll say servo 0. We start at 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. And you see that we said this is the left ankle, right ankle, left hip, and the right hip. Okay, and then the next you'll see it says define global variables here. So um, variables it's covered in a separate lecture, but just briefly, variables are global variables are basically storage places for um, for items in your code, and for it to be global, it will be defined in anywhere in your code. So it would be defined in any function that you do, any part of it. Whereas you get local variables that's only defined in certain functions. So you want to be careful with that. Okay, so then the next is your function declarations, and this is where you'll put all the functions that you've written for MIIA, or if you're using the sample code that we've developed, you'll see all the functions listed here, and you can just basically cut and paste the functions in there as I'll get to, and it will run as needed. Okay, so then next is you'll see this says that serial.begin. This basically sets the speed at which you want to write to your computer through your Arduino. And this is mainly used for when we get to the Bluetooth communication, but it's also used for debugging purposes. So you'll see that this sentence over here, um, when we run this code, this will be in our serial monitor, which is under Tools, Serial Monitor over there. And when you run it, you'll see exactly where you are in your code. So you want to know if your code is getting stuck somewhere or what the variable is at a certain time, then this will help with that. Okay, so the next is we attaching our server objects which we made on top here to specific pins on the microcontroller. And so we use, okay, this object here, my server.0, which is motor 1, and we'll attach that to pin 9. And we said that that's the left leg. So when you set up your robot, the left leg will be attached to pin 9. That's how we've done it, but if you want to change it, you can as well. And then so on and so forth to all the others. Next, we'll set the initial position of all these motors to be 90. This is just because sorry, that's a mistake. So this is just to make sure that everything is on its zero position, which is 90 in our case, because um, we'll get to that in another tutorial. But just to touch on it here, 90 would be our 0 point, so the motors can go up and down. Okay, so then we put in a delay here just so we make sure that it doesn't need to be in there, but we just make sure that the robot waits for a bit before it executes your code. So it gives you a bit of time if you run in if you need it. Okay, and then this is your function place. So this is the structure we've made. So your function will basically be you put your name of your function here. So in our name is example function, and just put a brief description of what the function does. And at this one just says this is an example function call, and we'll see that in our serial monitor, and then it delays for one second. Yeah, so it's 1,000 here, but that's 1,000 milliseconds, which is 1 second. And yeah, so then when we use this function, we just call this part of it in there with a semicolon because it's C, and that's just one of the syntax of it, which is syntax is the way the compiler wants to see it. So yeah, so let's see it run. So we'll see, we'll upload it. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. Okay, we done. So yeah, so let's go to our serial monitor tool, serial monitor. See start of code that was on top. Wait 5 seconds. This is an example function call, and we expect that. So that's this over here, this example function call. You'll see it there. Waiting 1 second, and yeah, and just calls it over and over and over. So yeah, so thank you for watching.